Welcome to another day of Bhagavad Gita Sadhana. I'm Atmadarshan or Laura, however you wish to address me or think of me. I think of you often, and I'm so glad you're here. You might be wondering, we've already talked about chapter 12, which means chapter 13 is coming up. And if there are 18 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita and more than half a year left, what's happening? Are we going to spend, months on one particular chapter? No. We will go through again, but with a different view. A lot of the Gita itself is cyclical, and it talks about time as a cycle. The Western idea of time as being linear is, I'm not going to say unique to our culture, but it's definitely not the only view of time out there. A cyclical view can actually be much more common. The idea that we keep coming back, yet our perspective is a little different. Arjun kind of goes through this with Krishna. He'll ask questions, and sometimes it's the same question. A very common question Arjun asks over and over is, what is the best path? What is the best path? And Krishna will give the answer, this is the best path. This is the best path. This is the best path. So this is challenging us to get out of our linear and black and white mindset, cyclical and shades of gray. Our connection to nature is based on this, and our connection to the Gita in many forms is based on this as well. So I talked about yesterday the idea that the first third of the Gita talks about doing, and the second third is about being, and then the third third is about knowing. And often first we have to do. We go to somebody, I have a crisis, what do I do? Then we get to the point where we dig a little deeper. What am I? How am I in this situation? And often when we're sitting with ourselves, with the situation, with life, then suddenly we have a clearer idea. We know how to move forward, and we can say we know what to do. And there's actually a popular saying in the West, if you know who you are, then you know what to do, indicating that the cycle starts again. So we know a bit more about ourselves and we have a clearer idea of what to do. And that leads us to being more comfortable or being more secure, being more safe or being more loving, being more mature, if nothing else, being older in this physical body, which helps us realize, oh, there's something more to learn. And then we know what to do again, and it might be something different. Those of you who have aged a bit, you probably know, like for me, for example, I have a very high energy level. And when I was younger, I channeled that into martial arts practice every day and walking and biking an enormous amount. But as I've gotten older, now it's more focused on things like gardening or walking to the grocery store and picking up a few groceries and walking back. And that's enough for now. Not for my younger self, but for me now, it's perfect. And we have to go with this cycle. Go with this cycle. So again, today we'll revisit this idea of being, helping us know what to do, which brings us back to being, knowing, doing. You can start the cycle anywhere. If you're really brainy, you can look at, well, what do I know? And then start from that. Okay? Let's enjoy the cycle of life, of the season, of this day together with our practice. I invite you today, take a moment, be with yourself. What is my body and mind like right now? And from that, you might get an idea of knowing how to do your practice today. Maybe it's different. Sometimes we think it has to be the same, but we're always evolving. So why doesn't our pose? You might notice I do it differently every day. Let's see how I do it today. I'm going to be switch. Oh, if you watched the videos, you'll notice that probably every day I'm doing the pose a little differently because every day I'm checking in. And from checking in with how I am, that helps me learn more about myself so that I know what to do, that I can be more authentic in the pose. When I'm more authentic, I learn more about myself. Anyway, you get the picture. Oh, today, I invite you to, in the sitting practice, start with any of those three. You may have a concern. What do I do? How should I be? Who am I? How do I learn? Pick one of those aspects. Just be with it. Be with it. And notice if you can fall into that cycle. And if not, that's fine. That's just how you are today. That's just how the practice is today. That's just how the camera angle is today. 5 minutes. Wow, the time hath flown. Welcome back. I'm dedicating today's practice to Mama Robin, who lives in her nest right outside one of my windows. She embodies this cycle much better than most humans. She had her egg, and her egg hatched. And before her egg hatched, it was fun to see her sit there. Then, just after the egg hatched, you could hear the peep peep. And now the baby's beak is sticking up, and it's always like this, feed me. And Mama Robin adapts every day to how fast this baby is growing, and treats it appropriately. And I reflect upon how many of us can do this in our lives with our children or those that come after. I remember being a youth and going, Mom, why are you still treating me like I have a different age and a different body? Do any of you remember that? And yet, as we become older, it's easy to treat our children, the world, other people the same way. We think we know them and we relate to them as they were and not to them as they are. So let's take a lesson from the fast evolving denizens of nature. Can we be, can we know, and then can we choose what to do appropriately? I hope you will be here tomorrow for chapter 13. Until then.